is Gail with Traders Help Desk, and in this presentation, I'm actually going to go over winning percentages and risk to reward ratio. I've had a lot of questions about this lately, and I want to make sure everybody understands what it is and why it matters. Okay, so last week on the binary signals, we were able to achieve an overall winning percentage of 68.25. Now, I also have this based on trading one contract for each signal, which has a risk on entry of $45 and a target at $45, and that's captured profits. So, for example, if you were long, your target would have been 90. If you were short, your target would have been 10. Now, are you always going to achieve these targets? No, you're not. And I want to show also on the week ending April the 27th, we were able to hit 71.7% winning percentage. And again, would you always get your target? No. So how do we look at would I still be profitable even if I didn't hit my target every time? Well, let's use the random trade generator and let's look at that. Now, on this spreadsheet, you can see that the winning percentage at what is called Clipper 1 is 50 and Clipper 2 is 15. What does that mean? Well, you have to look at the risk to reward ratio that I have in here, and I have 62. That means on Clipper 1, you get for every dollar of risk, you make 62 cents. Okay, now Clipper 2 means for every dollar of risk, you're making $1.24. Okay, so this is basically allowing 15% of your trades to expire. This one is simply taking profits. Okay, and remember, your maximum risk is $45. Now, the way that this is set up, either you lose the $45 or you make a profit. That's the only two outcomes. You also have the $2 exchange rate already calculated into this. So I'm going to just use this example. And what this means, if I click on this cell here, you can see that you're getting $28 for what is considered Clipper 1. Okay, so if I go over to the data, this is calculated with the exchange rate. So in other words, this was a full loss, 45 plus 2. Okay, this was a Clipper 1, which means you made basically $25.90. This one, you made $53.79. This equates to about $55 before the exchange fee. This is $27 before the exchange fee. Remember, the exchange fee has already been either added to the loss or subtracted from the profit. Now, if you are able to achieve 50% winning ratio versus 15, then you can generate the trades. This is our targets up here. Now, in this graph, you can see that actually it's come up as 52 on the winning rate and 13.62 on the Clipper 2. Remember, Clipper 2 is allowing the trade to expire. Okay, that's the significance of that number. Now, in this case, you had 34.38% losers. Overall, that means you had 447 losses, 676 where you were able to capture a 1:2.62 risk to reward ratio, and then you had 177 trades that captured a 1:1.24 risk to reward ratio. And you can see that really this is a nice equity graph. you never went underwater very much. You know, you made new highs, gave some back, 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 made new highs, gave some back. And I mean, this is typical of a equity chart. Okay, so let's go and let's regenerate again. And it's using the same parameters. Now in this one, you notice that the winning rate is only 48%. You had a little bit of a rough start there. So keeping that 50% win rate is very important. And this is what it shows. This is one that you're able to capture 50% at a 1 to 62 cents risk to reward ratio, only 14% at the 1 to 124 risk to reward ratio. And again, you really don't go underwater. You do have highs and lows, but you're expecting that. If we regenerate this, again, this is exactly what we want, 50 to 15. And you can see you really never go underwater here. And you are able to be profitable at the end of the day. And this is what's important, because most of the strategies I have running, just about all of them, have at least a 55% winning ratio. Most of them have 60 to 65%. But when you combine them, what we're seeing is a 65 to 70% winning ratio right now. Could that change? It could always change. We could go into a drawdown at any time. But the fact that we're using a risk to reward ratio that is beneficial to our trading makes this a profitable trading strategy. And again, it's being able to capture the Clipper 1 on at least 15% of the trades. Now, if you read my post from last week, then you know an estimation is about 80% are expiring in the money. So when do you choose to take, for example, the 1 to 62 cents versus the 1 to 1.2? Well, there's no really easy answer to that. And what I like to tell clients is, for example, this one. This is on the Euro British Pound 15-minute chart. You entered on this bar and it moved at least 12 pips in your direction. Now, would you have received that $45 reward? No, because it moved very quickly in your favor. There is a lot of time until expiration. You probably would have made somewhere between $20 to $30 on this trade. Now, the fact that you were only in this trade for no more than 15 minutes, you could have taken your profits. Then you had another entry on the next bar. Again, the same thing happened. It moved very quickly in your direction. If you did hold until expiration, then you would have made the full profit on both of these positions. And as you can see, at this point, you have an hour and 45 minutes remaining on the binary. On this one, you have an hour and 15 minutes left until expiration. This is sort of like somebody from up above smiled on you. It immediately gave you profits. So you could have said, hey, I'm taking profits right now, as you could have held until expiration. It depends on, number one, whether you're confident in the signals. It also depends on if you're a new trader. Maybe you're just looking to take profits. In that case, you could go ahead and take profits on both. A more experienced trader that has been trading the signals for a long time could actually wait and say, as long as this stays above by X amount of pips, then I'm going to hold. Either way would have been sufficient to trade this potential signal. I have noticed that a lot of the signals are expiring in the money. And this is something that's new to me because I've always set a target and let the target take me up. Because I'm seeing so many of the signals expiring in the money, beginning this week, I'm actually going to track how many of the signals actually expired in the money versus how many just gave you a quick profit. Because I think that would help us trade the signals better to know, okay, overall, 80% of the signals expire in the money. That gives me incentive to allow them to expire in the money versus, okay, only 20% of them expire in the money. In that case, I'm always going to set my target. And again, it's going to take a while to build up the statistics for that, but I think overall we will get them very quickly. I do know that, let's say we only had a 65% here, where we're taking 62 cents for every dollar of risk, we didn't use or allow any of them to expire. If we only had a 65%, you can see you're not going to do very good if you only do the 62% on every single trade. Now, I know that because I've run this to determine what I'm going to do on my trades. And you can see you are always going to come up underwater if you consistently do that, even with a 65% winning rate. You actually have to be, I believe, at 75% if you're going to do this. And you can see this gives you a nice equity graph. So if you're at 75% consistently, you could actually do the 62 cents of profit for every dollar of risk. Now, again, I want to actually see how many of them close or expire in the money. So I may change setting a profit target, because if I did 65% at a 1 to 2, okay, then you get this type of equity graph. And again, the Clipper 1 would be 62 cents. The Clipper 2 would be $1.24 per dollar of risk. And this is a really nice equity graph. And this simply means that 65%, which is your winning ratio, always expire in the money. So again, I'm going to start capturing how many of the trades actually expire in the money, and then I may modify what I do to allow them to expire in the money. Right now, I typically will say, okay, if this is 10 pips above where my entry price is, as it approaches expiration, I know that it will not go against me, then I'll let it expire in the money if my target has not been hit.